Ladies and gentlemen, please rise to welcome our dignitaries. His Excellency Dr. Kao Kim Hourn, Secretary General of ASEAN. Please also welcome His Excellency Tetsuya Watanabe, President of ERIA, Professor Nobuhiro Aizawa, Dean of the ERIA School of Government, His Excellency Ambassador Takio Yamada, Executive Director of JIIA Center for Global Outreach, and Mr. Shingo Miyamoto, Director General for Southeast and Southwest Asian Affairs at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Japan. Excellencies, welcome. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to you all and welcome. I hope you are all doing well. My name is Dania from ERIA, and it is my pleasure to serve you as your Masters of Ceremonies for today's event. Today's program brings together two important conversations. We begin with the inaugural ERIA ASEAN AOIP lecture, which marks the launch of a new lecture series under the ERIA School of Government. This series aims to strengthen ASEAN's voice in shaping regional and global conversations on the Indo-Pacific by promoting dialogue, openness, inclusiveness, and cooperation. Following the lecture, we will continue with the ERIA JIIA FOIP AOIP Special Symposium, commemorating the 10th anniversary of the Free and Open Indo-Pacific. Distinguished experts will explore how the principles of the ASEAN outlook on the Indo-Pacific and the Free and Open Indo-Pacific can work together to address today's evolving regional challenges. On behalf of the organizer, we hope you will find today's discussions insightful and thought-provoking, and that this forum provides valuable opportunities for meaningful dialogue and new connections. Without further ado, it is now my honor to invite the President of ERIA to deliver his remarks and officially open today's event. Please welcome His Excellency Tetsuya Watanabe.
Very good morning, His Excellency Dr. Kao Kim Hourn, Secretary General of ASEAN, Excellency Ambassador Takio Yamada, Executive Director, JIIA Center for Global Outreach and Executive Fellow, Excellency Shingo Miyamoto, Director General, Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Japan, Ambassador Sisuo Pramono, Indonesia's Ambassador to Australia and Vanuatu, and Excellency Chan Banarit, Deputy Secretary General of the National Assembly of Cambodia, and Dr. Maria Monica Wihalja, Fellow and Co-Coordinator of Media Technology at the ISIS USAC Institute, distinguished panelists and ambassador, guests, and ladies and gentlemen. It's my great pleasure to welcome you to today's event at ERIA office here in Jakarta. I would like to express my sincere appreciation to the Japan Institute of International Affairs, JIIA, for co-organizing this symposium. ASEAN Outlook on the Indo-Pacific, AOIP, has gained renewed strategic importance as the Indo-Pacific enters a period of growing geopolitical uncertainties and intensifying power competition. It is therefore very timely to reflect on how the AOIP can better address today's regional challenges while ensuring it remains practical, forward-looking, and responsible. That is precisely why we are gathered here today to exchange views on how AOIP can uphold regional peace, stability, resilience, while reinforcing ASEAN's centrality and its convening power. To provide a dedicated platform for this discussion, today we are launching the ERIA ASEAN AOIP lecture series, Its objective is to strengthen ASEAN's agencies in shaping regional and global narrative and reinforce Indo-Pacific as a strategic space for dialogue, cooperation, and inclusive engagement. In this regard, I am very honored to welcome Excellency Dr. Kao Kim Hourn, Secretary of ASEAN, to inaugurate the ERIA ASEAN AOIP lecture series. His steadfast leadership and commitment have been instrumental in advancing ASEAN's vision and agenda and its central role. And I would like to express my appreciation to Dr. Kao Kim Hourn, as it was actually the idea of holding AOIP lecture series came from him. And just 6 months ago, we met, we had a discussion. And now today we can finally launch the series, but this is the beginning of the series, and we are very honored to be inaugurated by His Excellency Dr. Kao Kim Hourn. Today, following the inauguration of ERIA ASEAN AOIP lecture series, we are very pleased to convene a special symposium marking the 10th anniversary of FOIP, Free and Open Indo-Pacific. The symposium will revisit the AOIP and the FOIP in light of today's geopolitical realities and explore ways to deepen their synergies. We are very honored to welcome the distinguished group of experts and speakers for that discussion: Ambassador Yamada, Ambassador Miyamoto, and Ambassador Cicero Pramono, and Dr. Banarit and Dr. Monica Ulharaja, whose insights and expertise will help advance the important dialogue for these very important issues. ERIA School of Government was launched almost 2 years ago, and the intention was to make ERIA and ERIA School of Government to become a trusted platform for policy dialogue, where high-level leaders, policymakers, and experts and academia from across the region get together and exchange views, ideas, and deepen mutual understanding and identify key policy priority issues for the region. I wish you all a successful inauguration and productive symposium. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, President Watanabe, for your thoughtful opening remarks. We now move to the inaugural ERIA ASEAN AOIP lecture. It is our great privilege to welcome our keynote speaker, Secretary General of ASEAN, His Excellency Dr. Kao Kim Hourn. Your Excellency, the floor is yours.
JIIA Professor Tetsuya Watanabe, President of ERIA, Professor Nobuhiro Aizawa, Dean and Managing Director of ERIA School of Government, Excellency Ambassador Takio Yamada, Executive Director, Japan Institute of International Affairs, Center for Global Outreach, and Executive Fellow, Excellency Shingo Miyamoto, Director General for Southeast and Southwest Asian Affairs, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Japan. Excellencies, ambassadors, excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, friends and colleagues, a very good morning. I wish to express my appreciation for the opportunity to join this joint symposium. Of course, as you launch this inaugural, the ASEAN Outlook on Indo-Pacific lecture series, convened to mark this joint symposium to mark the 10th anniversary of Japan's free and open Indo-Pacific strategy. In particular, I would like to thank the Economic Research Institute for ASEAN and East Asia area and the Japan Institute of International Affairs for organizing this event and bringing together policy makers, scholars, and practitioners to consider how cooperation between the ASEAN outlook on the Indo-Pacific AOIP and Japan's free and open Indo-Pacific can be strengthened. This symposium convenes at a moment that invites deep reflection. The Indo-Pacific's strategic and economic weight continues to grow, yet the same interdependence that has driven our prosperity has become a source of exposure. The region contends with geopolitical competition, economic fragmentation, technological disruption, and mounting strain on the rules-based international order. The crisis in the Strait of Hormuz, of course, now has just had another round of another new round of fighting. It's a forceful reminder of this vulnerability. The disruption of a single choke point reverberating through energy markets, shipping costs, and supply chains across Asia, among others. Connectivity carries risk as readily as it carries opportunity. Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, it is again this backdrop that ASEAN's position has remained consistent and I would argue has acquired renewed relevance and resilience. As reflected in the AOIP, we believe the Indo-Pacific should be a region of inclusive cooperation rather than confrontation, one that transcends major power rivalry, exclusive spheres of influence, and zero-sum competition. Dialogue, diplomacy, inclusivity, and cooperation must continue to guide how we manage our differences, address our shared vulnerabilities, advance our shared interests, and strengthen our strategic trust. It was this conviction that led ASEAN leaders to adopt the ASEAN Outlook on the Indo-Pacific in 2019. The AOIP provides a framework for advancing peace and stability through openness, inclusivity, and respect for international law. While the AOIP and Japan's FOIP reflect distinct strategic and policy approaches, they converge on key fundamental principles. The leaders reaffirmed this at the 28th ASEAN-Japan Summit in 2025, pledging support for an open, transparent, resilient, inclusive, and rules-based regional architecture that would significantly contribute to peace, stability, freedom, and prosperity in the Indo-Pacific. This convergence goes beyond shared language. It is anchored in the ASEAN-Japan Comprehensive Strategic Partnership established in 2023, and it is reinforced by the joint vision statement on ASEAN-Japan friendship and cooperation, trusted partners, and its accompanying implementation plan, adopted at the ASEAN-Japan Commemorating Summit for the 50th year of ASEAN-Japan friendship and cooperation. As of June 2026, various activities, programs, and projects have been carried out, addressing approximately 81% of the action lines in the implementation plan. Was this between ASEAN and Japan? These milestone achievements are the accumulated substance of our enduring partnership and a solid basis for deepening AOIP and FOIP synergies. This sheer commitment truly matters as both ASEAN and Japan adjust their approaches to a shifting and evolving strategic landscapes. Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, as Japan marks a decade of its free and open Indo-Pacific, ASEAN has entered a new phase of its own. Through the implementation of ASEAN 2045, our shared future, a 20-year vision that already commencing with the implementation of the 4 new strategic plans. Both reflect the same recognition that our approaches and strategies going forward must adapt to the changing circumstances. ASEAN 2045 is designed to keep ASEAN adaptive and responsive in a world where change has become the only reliable constant. The AOIP will remain central to advancing ASEAN's vision for the region. Japan, for its part, has renewed its FOIP with greater emphasis on resilience, economic security, and practical cooperation with regional partners. Here, the alignment is striking. Resilience is at its heart, what ASEAN 2045 seeks for our community. The capacity not merely to withstand shocks, but to adapt and emerge stronger from them. When Prime Minister Takio spoke at Vietnam National University in Hanoi this May of a more resilient and prosperous Indo-Pacific, she was articulating an aspiration that resonates strongly with ASEAN as well. Resilience also demands that regional frameworks move beyond proclaiming principles to delivering tangible outcomes for our peoples. It is here in delivery that frameworks must earn their legitimacy and support. There is significant scope to translate this principle shared by the AOIP and Japan's FOIP into practical cooperation across sustainable infrastructure, digital transformation, supply chain resilience, maritime cooperation, energy security, disaster management, connectivity, and people-to-people exchanges. ASEAN and Japan can also deepen cooperation in emerging areas: cybersecurity, trusted digital ecosystems, and the responsible human-centered governance of artificial intelligence, supported by initiatives such as the Japan-ASEAN Co-Creation Initiative for AI, so that the technologies reshaping our society strengthen regional resilience and innovation rather than deepen our vulnerabilities. We should also continue to advance the women, peace, and security agenda, including the meaningful participation of women in peace processes, conflict prevention, mediation, humanitarian action, and post-conflict recovery. Empowering women as agents of peace and resilience contributes directly to sustainable development, social cohesion, and regional stability, and reflects our shared commitment to regional cooperation that is inclusive and people-centered, not merely in principle, but greatly in practice. I believe that the Japan-ASEAN Integration Fund, JIIF, will continue to play a central role here, supporting practical cooperation between ASEAN and Japan, and advancing AOIP implementation through concrete projects, programs, and activities. I encourage ASEAN's external partners, who also include Japan, to continue supporting AOIP implementation, including by aligning their own regional initiatives with its principles and priorities. Such support advances AOIP implementation and more broadly strengthens an open, inclusive, and stable regional architecture grounded in shared norms, principles, international law, multilateralism, and ASEAN centrality. As the Indo-Pacific landscape of security partnerships and multilateral frameworks continues to expand, it is precisely ASEAN centrality that gives this broader architecture its coherence and inclusive character, ensuring that the region's many cooperative frameworks reinforce one another rather than pull the region apart. Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, beyond strategic considerations, the economic dimension of Indo-Pacific cooperation carries its own growing weight. The convergence between the AOIP and FOIP that I have described extends to the architecture for trade itself. Both ASEAN and Japan have agreed on the need to enhance cooperation to address emerging disruptions and seize all opportunities in trade and investment. This includes the possible upgrading of the ASEAN-Japan Comprehensive Economic Partnership, AJCEP, agreement. Our shared aim is to sustain the momentum of open trade at a time when protectionist headwinds are gathering from more than one direction. Alongside trade, the security of our shared maritime domain remains fundamental to the prosperity of both ASEAN and Japan and the wider region. The Indo-Pacific encompasses some of the world's busiest sea lanes and most critical maritime choke points, carrying the trade, energy, and supply chains that underpin both regional and global prosperity. The recent disruptions to maritime shipping have underscored how instability at sea can rapidly reverberate through the global economy. This is particularly true of strategic waterways, such as the Straits of Malacca, the Sunda and Lombok Straits, the South China Sea, and the Sulu-Celebes Seas. Preserving a maritime environment that is open, stable, and secure, as well as governed by international law, is therefore not only a regional imperative, but a global economic necessity. This is why ASEAN and Japan share a strong interest in upholding this principle that keep the maritime domain open, inclusive, and secure. Freedom of navigation, exercised in accordance with the 1982 United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, remains fundamental to regional stability, global trade, and economic security. Respect for international law provides the certainty and predictability necessary for commerce, investment, sustainable development, and the peaceful management of differences. These principles remain indispensable if the Indo-Pacific, with ASEAN and Southeast Asia at the center, is to continue serving as an engine of growth, connectivity, and shared prosperity. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the challenges before the Indo-Pacific are indeed significant, but so too are the opportunities. The convergence between the AOIP and FOIP is more than an exercise in policy coordination. It reflects a wider recognition that no single country, institution, or framework can secure the future of the Indo-Pacific alone. As we mark the 10th anniversary of the free and open Indo-Pacific, this is an opportunity not only to reflect on how far we have come, but also to reaffirm our shared vision for the region and our collective responsibility to realize it. As I noted last week at the 39th Asia-Pacific Roundtable in Malaysia, we cannot outsource peace and stability. Our region's future will depend on our collective will and collective ability to foster trust, uphold international law, strengthen resilience, and expand cooperation across both traditional and emerging domains. In this regard, ASEAN deeply values Japan's steadfast support for the AOIP, ASEAN centrality, was AOIP since its adoption in 2019. Japan was among the earliest partners to embrace ASEAN's vision for the Indo-Pacific and has consistently demonstrated its confidence in and support for ASEAN centrality as the foundation for regional cooperation. The past decade of our working together has shown that sustained dialogue and practical cooperation can build and strengthen trust across differences. Regional initiatives need not compete. The complementarity between the AOIP and FOIP reminds us that lasting regional order is built not on uniformity, but on the ability of different visions to find common purpose for collective efforts. That spirit of convergence has long been one of the Indo-Pacific's greatest strengths, not weaknesses. Ultimately, the future of the Indo-Pacific will depend on the trust we nurture, the partnership we sustain, and the choices we make together. Guided by mutual respect and enhanced trust, international law, and the shared sense of responsibility, ASEAN and Japan can work with all partners to keep our region open, peaceful, stable, and prosper for generations to come. With that, I thank you and good morning to all of you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for sharing those valuable insights. Please come forward and take a seat in the front. So I would like to call once again His Excellency Dr. Kao Kim Hourn to please take a seat in the front, as well as to lead the moderated discussion and Q&A session. I would like to call Professor Nobuhiro Aizawa, Dean of the ERIA School of Government. Please take a seat here.
Once again, good morning to all. My name is Nobuhiro Aizawa, the Dean of the School of Government of ERIA. First and foremost, I would like to thank you, Dr. Kao Kim Hourn, the Secretary General of ASEAN, once again for such an inspiring speech. Not only this speech, but during his Secretary General, every speech, he has coined the sense of encouragement in times of crisis. I think his situational awareness, together with diplomatic skill and his leadership, has always brought this encouragement and a cautious optimism when everybody can fall into pessimism in this challenging time. I really like the final word that you coined, the spirit of convergence. I think that really gives our foundation of why we work in when everybody starts to talk about a diverging concept and sometimes trying to rip things apart. But I think your words really encourage us in times of crisis. So we always consider time of crisis as always an opportunity, as you mentioned, especially in governance and public policy as well. So I thank you so much. And you set the first step of this lecture series. I hope and I encourage all the thought leaders and the government leaders to follow suit in encouraging this dialogue that you cherish so much with us here in Jakarta. He has kindly shared us his time to accept the Q&A. So I would like to open the floor to take this opportunity to directly ask questions to Dr. Kao Kim Hourn. Please identify yourself when raising your question and keep the question as question, no statement, because we really wanted to maximize this opportunity to hear from Dr. Kao Kim Hourn. Okay, first, Ambassador Yamada.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Kao Kim Hourn, for a very insightful and perceptive lecture. I've learned a lot from that. Thank you very much indeed. And my question is about the prospect of the updating of AOIP. The Prime Minister Takaichi announced the updated FOIP. And this is a response to the very fundamental and profound shift now we are undergoing, both in geoeconomics and geopolitics. And also, in the future, in the coming decades, ASEAN will accumulate further capacity, and your GDP will be maybe bigger than, substantially bigger than now it is. And so, is there any chance that ASEAN would also update and evolve the concept and the content of the AOIP? That would provide the basis for the future cooperation between the FOIP and AOIP. And also, we should stress the strategic autonomy and resilience as we did in the updated FOIP. And I believe that is consistent with the spirit and the philosophy of TAC, ASEAN's basic document. Please.
Well, thank you very much, Ambassador Yamada, for making a very important point. Well, first of all, this year is a significant year for ASEAN. We will soon, within this month, be commemorating the 50th anniversary of the Treaty of Amity and Cooperation in South Asia, or TSC. By the time we commemorate, we expect the number of high contracting parties, meaning all the countries that have signed and become the signatories to the TSC would become the high contracting parties. At the moment, we have 58 high contracting parties. We're expected to have at least 6 more signing in July here, this month, in Manila during our commemorative activity. So it's going to be over 60. So basically, the ASEAN footprints will be covering practically all regions around the world now through TSC. But I want to come back to the AOIP, meaning that this is the 7th year because it was launched back in 2019. So the AOIP continues to take shape, especially in 2023 during Indonesian chairmanship, when we move forward on to make sure that we focus on the 4 priorities under the AOIP. We have maritime cooperation, connectivity, sustainable development goals, and economic cooperation. So these are the 4 priorities under the AOIP. And of course, we have already moved on with practical cooperation. So I think this has really have made AOIP is not just a policy statement by our leaders, but move toward becoming the framework of cooperation. And of course, it's not only just among the ASEAN member states, but also with our partners, including Japan, for example, Australia, and others. So I think moving forward is that this implementation, the implementation of the various activities will not only raise the profile and visibility of AOIP, but also to convey the narratives of ASEAN beyond our own region. And I think it's important for us because, as you know, ASEAN also has established 55 ASEAN committees in 3rd countries and international organizations. And these committees are the extended arms of ASEAN around the world. And in fact, we will have another one coming up soon in Fiji, for example, that is in the process of setting up. But I would just say that the AOIP has been consistently being pursued by ASEAN collectively, but also individually in connection with our partners. So I would say, yes, this is one of the factors in enhancing ASEAN strategic autonomy. When you talk about ASEAN strategic autonomy, we must have our own strategies, our own frameworks, and of course, our own, I would say, mechanism in advancing them. So we have the AOIP, we have the TAC, we have also, besides also, of course, we use the ASEAN-led mechanisms through ASEAN +3, EES, and AOF. All of these are part of mechanisms that will strengthen the character of ASEAN strategic autonomy. Now, of course, you may also be looking at, because we've been trying already for some years now to advance the Southeast Asia nuclear weapon zone treaty, because we have been working with the 5 permanent members of the UN Security Council, the PERM 5, to accede to the protocol to the Sunfast Treaty. Because our region is that our leaders and are very clear that we're committed to non-proliferation. We're committed to a region that is free of nuclear weapons and all weapons of mass destruction. And that's another character of this ASEAN strategic autonomy. At the same time, through trade, I just want to look also at this, that we are currently having 7 bilateral FTAs, include Japan, for example, Korea, China, Australia, New Zealand, India, and of course, Hong Kong. We are accelerating our negotiation with Canada for the first bilateral FTA with a country in North America. And we're undertaking was with support area of the full feasibility study on a possible bilateral FTA between ASEAN and the GCC, the Gulf Cooperation Council. So it will be a region-to-region FTA. At the same time, we have the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, in which Japan is part of it. The 15 countries, which constitute the largest FTA that we have in the world. So all of this are defining the strategic autonomy of ASEAN. And with that, we do not rely on a single partner. We work with our partners. We engage all. So I think this is how we work to strengthen the ASEAN strategic autonomy. So I want, let me stop there, but I would say yes, let's see how member states would like to take this forward on AOIP, particularly during the upcoming 10th anniversary of the AOIP in the next 3 years. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I cannot agree more of that strategic, the importance of the strategic autonomy comes from these conceptual, undertaking. And as we know that the global, narrative always structure our world like, say, great power competition or, bipolar, I think that brings our region lessen our strategic autonomy. Therefore, your initiatives and your reiteration of the agencies in the Indo-Pacific and the AOIP speaks extremely strong, because we already know too much in our history when our region is being, a sideline in the global narrative, what happens in our region, especially like when the word Cold War, it was not a Cold War in our region, right? So these narratives already have given us a lesson too hard to learn. So I think your initiative right now, having that situational awareness and putting that forward into strengthening our agency, I think that is an extremely important point and an encouraging one to have a collective action. Thank you very much for that. Maybe we'll have one final question. Yes.
Good morning, Excellency. 2 questions, if I may, on the AOIP forum and on the peace and security. On the AOIP forum, since 2023, ASEAN has organized the ASEAN Outlook on the Indo-Pacific Forum. It took different forms. So in 2023, it was a pledging conference on concrete projects. In 2024, it was a business conference. Last year, it was a Track 1.5 conference. So how do you see the future of the AOIP conference? And the second question on peace and security, you very rightly said that peace and security cannot be outsourced by ASEAN. So the primary responsibility rests with ASEAN. But how do you see the engagement of ASEAN with its external partners, especially those which have also an Indo-Pacific strategy, including the European Union? And by the way, I'm the ambassador of the European Union to ASEAN.
Well, thank you very much, Ambassador Sim. Your question have to all go back to Europe. Well, thank you. No, I mentioned broadly about the various activities that we have undertaken under the AOIP, including the issue joint statements with our partners. We have done that. The various activities include the forum that we have organized a series, of course, pulling together between us and member states and our dollar partners, for example. And even on specific issues like undersea cable, how we protect that. So I think we look at many directions on how we can do to expand our cooperation under the framework of AOIP here. And that's why the 4 priority areas are there. Maritime cooperation, just mentioned, and connectivity. We have some activities under this priority connectivity. Economic cooperation, of course, also, and SDGs. So I would say that we will have more. We're going to have more activities and programs that will continue to take place from now onward, because we see there is a value in what we do under the AOIP, and that will continue to give a more, I think, will be a clearer picture of what we mean by AOIP. Because you may remember, because there was a lot of questions that were asked just right after we launched the AOIP by our leaders. There were a lot of questions asked by our partners and others. What do we mean here? What's the difference between our AOIP and other Indo-Pacific strategies by our partners, include the EU as well, for example. So I think as we move on, our position will be much clearer, as they will be defined by not statements alone, but by the things that we do among ourselves and, of course, in partnership with our partners. And I think that will provide clear examples and, of course, also a clear demonstration of the commitment that we have. Because for ASEAN, we are a pillar of peace and stability in the region. We are a pillar of multilateralism. And that's what we want to do in this region. On the ASEAN's engagement with external partners, of course, as you can see, ASEAN does not choose sides. But our engagement has been consistent and will remain consistent. I must say that just very recently, just last month, we even had our engagement with the Russian Federation through the Commemorating Summit. Because Russian Federation is our battle partner as well. Yes, of course, there are many differences that we have with our partners, but that does not mean we should not engage with the partners. So I think it's clear that that's why we choose to engage our partners. We currently have 11 dollar partners. We have also sectoral dollar partners and development partners. Of course, among the dollar partners we have some now are comprehensive partners, because we have been able to work together and to elevate our partnership to the level that we want to see the expansion of cooperation to cover more areas. And then that's why we've seen since 2021 the establishment of the CSP since then. Now, of course, with the EU, as you know, you can see we just had our ASEAN-EU ministerial meeting at the level of foreign ministers that took place in Brunei, Jerusalem, in very recently, April. So now we're discussing on our 50th anniversary next year, what will be the substance and deliverables. And I think that's important for us as we seek to strengthen, to elevate our partnership. I think that's why our member states have been discussing this consistently with you, with your side, and we have seen a lot of engagement between ASEAN and EU, particularly in recent years, and more so within this year, despite, of course, of what's happening globally. But I think moving forward is that, yes, we will continue to consolidate our relations, cooperation, partnership with all our external partners, including also elevating some of our current partnerships to even higher level. And that's why I think that's what we've been doing now. For example, Canada, we are going in full swing now for this FTA negotiation because we want to finalize it within this year in preparation for the 50th anniversary next year between ASEAN and Canada. The same thing between ASEAN and the United States. We welcome now the new U.S. Ambassador Kevin Kim, for example. He's very active, and we're engaging with the U.S. Consistently. Of course, next year will be our important 50th anniversary as well. So I think we're looking at Japan, of course, is one of the oldest and long-standing partners of ASEAN, along with, I think the two oldest would be Australia and Japan, for example. So I think we have covered a lot of ground there. So I would say that, yes, coming back to ASEAN and the EU, I think we have something very substantive between the two sides. And we look forward to ensure that we will be able to celebrate our 50th anniversary in the most meaningful way, and of course in the most substantive way. At the same time, we will, because next year, beside the 50th anniversary, we will have a change of our country coordinatorship as well. So we hope that our new country coordinatorship will continue to take the relationship on behalf of ASEAN, of course. But I believe that during Singapore Championship next year, it's going to be a significant year for ASEAN because we also will be celebrating the 60th anniversary. So having said that, I wanted to sum up saying that we engage all external partners on the basis of trust, on the basis of our enduring relations, and of course on the basis of practical cooperation. And I think practical cooperation, look at numbers, look at statistics, how does it define in terms of trade, investment, tourism, connectivity, among others. I think that was important. I want to congratulate the EU for moving to become the #1 source of FDI in ASEAN last year, 2025. So you have outpaced the US already to become the #1 of foreign direct investment, one source of foreign direct investment in ASEAN. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kao, for such again, a very detailed, but and also very, promising, illustration of what's occurring in this region and the dynamics of it. I think you have very much emphasized again the importance of engagement, which speaks to the word I really like, the spirit of convergence that the AOIP or the ASEAN is now demonstrating. And I think that really, is a sustainable effort, I think consistent effort of dialogue and also the institutional initiative that you have been emphasizing as well. So I hope this Indo-Pacific AOIP lecture series can be an avenue for that, this sustained dialogue, regional initiative, for the sake of the strategic autonomy and peace and stability of this region. I think every concept that you have mentioned really gives a pathway to the succeeding leaders to piggyback on your intellectual framework, and then hope we could strengthen our region together here in Jakarta as well. So I thank you so much for today's lecture, and thank you for laying this out to the community of all here.
Well, thank you very much to Dean Aizawa, and of course thank President Watanabe for organizing it. I think we have worked together very closely. Like I say, Japan is one of the long-standing partners of ASEAN. The relationship will have to be based on trust. And trust will define the quality of relationship. So for that matter, I think we have the responsibility to protect, to maintain, and advance peace, stability, and prosperity in our region. We have that duty to the current generation, of course, to the future generation. So with that, thank you very much for the opportunity to be here. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Kao Kim Hourn, for your detailed insights, and for Professor Aizawa for moderating the discussion. Excellencies, please remain on stage for the photo session. We will take 2 sets of photos. First, I would like to invite His Excellency Tetsuya Watanabe to join us. Please stand on. Please switch positions between Sensei and Tetsuya. Yes. Okay, we will take the first set of photos. Please be ready. Okay, on my cue, 1, 2, 3. Once again, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we will take the second set of photos. Now I would like to invite all the symposium speakers. First, Mr. Shingo Miyamoto, Ambassador Takio Yamada, Dr. Chiang Wanareth, Dr. Maria Morika Wiharja, okay, on my cue. 1, 2, 3. All right. Okay, Excellencies, please kindly return to your seats.